Dattatreya's preaching about Yoga Mark. Dattatreya compassionately replied, King, if you could answer to my questions honestly, I would be able to jettison your agony in a trice. What is the root cause for your anguishes? Who are you? Whose agony is this? Are you the mere body or soul? Ponder over my questions cautiously and answer them. Once the reason is accentuated, the dolor can be exterminated within an iota of time. So, when Alarka visited Dattatreya, he asked these basic questions to him. Alarka began to think profoundly about the questions that were esoteric, analyzed them sapiently. He contemplated thus: who am I? Am I the organs of the body or the body itself? As both of them deteriorate with time, how could I assume that I am the body? The body is composed of 5 elements, and hence I does not represent the body. I have been considering this body as I, which is a mirage. Therefore, I am engulfed by the wicked hands of agony. Since I am beyond the body, I am independent of dolor. I am neither sobbing nor chortling. I am indissoluble. I am eternal and imperishable. The opposites like agony and gleefulness, superiority and inferiority are unbiased to me. I am beyond the dualities. Other than the physical body, a subtle body also exists, which is the combination of 5 types of Jnanendriyas, 5 kinds of Karmendriyas, 5 types of prana or life force, that is prana, apana, udana, samana, vyana, the mind and ego. When I am able to segregate the physical and subtle bodies, how am I subjected to the dualities like joy and sorrow? So, friends, the simple question that Dattatreya had put forth, that is, who are you? For such a simple question, Alarka got enlightened because he started thinking deeply about himself, like he started analyzing whether he is the body. Then he came to know, no, he is not the body, because the body is going to perish. So he is not the body, and then he realizes that he is the soul. And he is also able to differentiate between the physical and subtle bodies too. The mind is an abode of both tribulation as well as jubilation. But I am independent of them, because I am neither the mind nor the conscience. I am not even the ego or the physical as well as the subtle bodies. I have surpassed all the expectations. So, friends, Alarka has realized that even he is not the mind. The mind does not belong to him. The ego also does not belong to him. The physical body does not belong to him. The subtle body does not belong to him. So, there's nothing that belongs to him. That is what he realized. And that is why he could overcome the dualities. When we are under the impression that this is my body, he is my husband, he is my son, she is my daughter, the attachment leads to actually dualities. When we realize that we are the souls, and the attachment will really get unfastened. That is what has happened to Alarka. So he has come out of the dualities. And he's saying that he doesn't have any expectations also. When the body, mind, and conscience are denuded of me, how could I infer that the kingdom belongs to me? So now he is saying that the kingdom also doesn't belong to him, because He has known that the mind does not belong to him, the conscience does not belong to him, the ego does not belong to him, even the physical body does not belong to him. In that case, how could the kingdom belongs to him? Rather, it is a spurious kingdom. Not even a speck of this physical plane belongs to me. I do not hold the ownership of both the kingdom and the army. I have neither a friend nor a foe. As the moon appears to be multiple when viewed in various water tumblers, in a similar fashion, an Atma appears to be multitudinous, though it is a single entity. By thinking sagaciously, it can be concluded that the Atman is enmeshed in every living and non living being. The I or ego of Subahu, Kashipati, and Alarka is akin, but with dissimilar jobs. When the I is similar in all the three of us, we are neither amigos nor the antagonists. The entire universe is wrapped in a single Atman, that is the Paramatma. So, Alarka is saying that only a single entity exists in this entire creation, and that is the Atman. And Atman is nothing but Paramatma. So he is giving a best example, like we can see a moon in various water tumblers, right? So in the same way, the Atman is appearing multiple forms, like me, like you, like the insects, the animals. We are all appearing in different forms. Remember, friends, that even non-living things have got the soul, but the conscious level is in sleeping mode. So every object, every subject, everything is occupied by the Atma, that is Paramatma. And so he's saying that Subahu, his brother, Kashipati, the king who defeated him in the battlefield, they are all neither my friends nor my enemies, because the Atman that is residing in me is residing in them also. So in that case, how could I be different from them? This is what Alarka has realized, and he's trying to tell us the same thing. Alarka was enlightened. He vanquished his woe in a trice. He paid obeisance to Lord Dattatreya and said with humility, Lord, I could conceive that misery is caused due to nescience. I have invariably spent more time bewailing my predicament, which is non existent. Out of ignorance, we always presume that the feeling of utter desolation is persistent, but in reality, it is an elusive. So Alarka got enlightened, and he's saying that Dattatreya, that I have really fretted away my time by feeling sorrowful about the defeat that I have went through in the battlefield, which is actually non-existent. See, everything is Maya, right? The happiness is Maya, sorrow is Maya, everything is Maya. So he got enlightened once he has come to know that only Atma is existent, rest everything is non-existent. So in that case, even dolor is not existent. So he feels that it's mere stupidity to feel sorrow about the matters, whether it could be a personal or other matters. Attachment is the only block in our spiritual journey. The attachment towards things and persons results in distress. If a cat devours a cock, we feel distressed because of the attachment that we possess towards the cock. And if the same cat kills a rat, we remain unperturbed. Hence, I could realize that attachment is a prominent reason for our afflictions. Since I am independent of nature, I am neither happy nor sorrowful. I am beyond the dualities, and I express my heartfelt gratitude to you, my Lord, for helping me to cognize the truth. I am ever blissful. My nature is still, and I am unconquered by the dualities. See how gracefully Alarka is saying that I am unconquered by the dualities. So he's expressing his heartfelt gratitude to the Lord because that simple question put forth by Dattatreya, that is, who are you? That simple question has made him to get enlightened. Even let us express our heartfelt gratitude to Lord Dattatreya for giving us this wonderful knowledge about Atman. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lord Dattatreya was exuberated over the transformation of Alarka. He acknowledged thus, Alarka, whatever you have narrated is the truth. The root cause for excruciation is the ownership and doership, and the one who renounces these shall be liberated. So, the root cause for sorrow is ownership and doership. This is what Lord Dattatreya is saying. And hence, if we want to be free from suffering, then we have to discard ownership and doership. Like, we have to discard these feelings like I am doing this, I have done that, and this belongs to me, that belongs to me. In fact, nothing belongs to us, right? So that is what Lord is saying. You have achieved your mission of visiting the planet Earth. Yeah, so that's a wonderful sentence, friends. Every one of us visit this planet to know about ourselves. Apart from that, there is no duty proposed to us. Only to know ourselves, we are coming to this planet Earth. Once we realize ourselves and once we know that the Atman is persisting everywhere in the universe, we get liberated. I mean, there is no point in coming back to this earth again. So this is what Lord Dattatreya is saying to Alarka, that your duty is finished. You need not come to planet Earth because you have known the ultimate truth. The tiny question that I put forth has transformed you into an articulate speaker. What else can I preach you? You are endowed with eternal bliss, undisturbed by the dualities of life. What else you need? The mind is capricious and ego is the seed. I, or ownership, is the trunk. Materialistic properties are the compartments of the trunk. Family members are the tender leaves. Wealth represents the stems. Such a tree can grow in all seasons irrespective of environmental effects. The merits and demerits, or its flowers, joy, as well as sorrow, are the fruits of the tree. In fact, such a tree creates hurdles in the path of enlightenment. However, the ignorant people tend to inhabit under such a tree's shadow. So here Dattatreya is comparing the attachments, the materialistic properties, family members, wealth, and everything to the tree, a tree. So when he's saying that whoever rests under the shadow of such a tree would never get enlightened. That is what he's saying. Those who are entangled by sansar, that is family bonds, cannot find happiness under the shadow of such a tree. Nevertheless, one who gains wisdom through sharpening the knife called wisdom on the rock of satsang will be able to renounce the attachments and travel to the path of Atmagnan and reach the Brahmavan, that is the garden of wisdom, where they attain the blissful state by realizing that the body which is made up of 5 elements and 5 senses, is just an interim abode, and correspondingly, the subtle body is also impermanent. So, Lord is saying that a person who involves in satsang is like making friendship with the holy people. So, the one who has a company with holy people, they can travel through the path of Atmagnan such that they will enter into a garden of wisdom, that is Brahmavan. So once they enter into the garden of wisdom, they shall be blissful forever. And they will also realize that the body, actually our body is made up of 5 elements, right friends? So the body and the subtle body both are temporary abodes. So this is what he's saying to us. So friends, it is essential that we also enter into the Brahmavan, right friends? Though Alarka was deviated from the wretchedness, he was recollecting the glimpses of his kingdom and the retinue. Since his will was to jettison the torment, he inquired Lord Dattatreya about the same, as, Lord, out of compassion, you have helped me to gain knowledge about the nature of reality. Ergo, I could realize about my existence, and consequently my tribulations vanished immediately. But I yearn to retain this state forever. Please delineate the methods of conquering the dualities and to stay tuned with the Brahman. I surrender myself to you, my Lord. Please help me. So Alarka, though he realized that he is not the body, he is not the mind, he is not the ego, the kingdom does not belong to him, the dualities do not exist, and there is only one thing that is existing, that is Atman, and that is Paramatman. He wants to retain that state of mind, or he wants to retain that state. He doesn't want to get deviated. So he's asking Lord how to retain that. Lord Dattatreya was elated with his words and described about the yoga mark to Alarka. The Lord said, Alarka, you have realized that the nature and the man are separate from one another. To remain distinguished from the nature of Trigunas by dissolving in the nature of Brahma is called liberation. So, Lord is saying that once you become beyond the Trigunas, that is, without involving ourselves in Sattva, Rajas, and Tamogun, and by involving or by dissolving ourselves in the nature of Brahma. Nature of Brahma is the Atman. So the Atman is residing everywhere, right? That is the nature of Brahma. So if we dissolve ourselves into the nature of Brahma, then we can attain liberation, and that particular state is called as liberation. Though the physical body is ephemeral, it has certain advantages. One can reap karma through the physical body. Besides, it is essential to acquire wisdom to quell the attachments. So here, friends, though Lord is saying that physical body is a temporary abode, at the same time, he is saying that in order to attain liberation, the body is very much essential for us, because only through the body that we can reap our karma. Once the karma is reaped and once we realize the Atman, then we are liberated, right? So to reap the karma, we need to have the body. So he's saying that in order to attain wisdom and to reap the karma, physical body is very much essential. Remember this point also, friends. The one who has acquired sagacity remains unperturbed by the variant situations of life, and performs his duties arduously without anticipating the outcome. And such a person attains liberation instantaneously. So, a person who does not expect anything out of the tasks that he has performed shall attain liberation immediately. That is what Lord is confirming, friends. On contrary, if a person expects the results of his deeds, he shall be entangled in the cycle of reincarnations to reap his karma. So we all know this, right? Though? So if we are expecting something, we are actually adding up the karma. If you are not expecting anything, we are not adding any good karma or bad karma. But we are expecting something from anything, then we are adding up either good karma or bad karma. Even to reap good karma, we have to come to planet Earth. And even to reap bad karma, we have to come to planet Earth. In order to follow the yoga mark, the mind and the five sense organs have to be restrained, and it can be attained only through incessant practice. The first step is to practice pranayam, which eliminates the unwanted fluids from the body. Second step is dharana, which means binding the consciousness to a single point. Dharana is about fixing the mind to one specific point. So friends, here Dattapuran is giving us the steps to follow the yoga mark. So if we want to follow the yoga mark, the first and foremost step is to do pranayam. And the second step is dharana. That is, we have to fix our mind to a particular point. When we focus intensely on one point, the rest of the mind becomes quiet. The next step is pratyahara, which is literally control of ahara or gaining mastery over external influences. It has been compared to a turtle withdrawing into its shell. The turtle's shell is the mind, and the turtle's limbs are the senses. The term is usually translated as withdrawal from the senses, but much more is implied. And the ultimate step is dhyan or meditation. Meditation cleanses a person from the dualities of life. So he's saying the first step is pranayam, and then the second one is dharana, that is fixing our mind to a specific point. By doing so, the rest of the mind becomes quiet. So the next one is pratyahara, that is having a control over our senses, or we can say unminding the senses. And the ultimate step is meditation. So only by doing these steps, we can overcome the dualities. As the metals like bronze, gold, iron become pristine when they are smelted, similarly by practicing pranayam, the five senses become pure. Pranayam is divided into three parts, namely laghu, quick, madhyamam, medium, and uttam, the best. The time consumed for pronouncing laghu, or the time taken to blink an eye, is called as matra. If the breath is held for 12 matras, it is called as laghu, or 12 seconds, friends. If we held the breath for 12 seconds, then it is called as laghu pranayam. Pranayam eliminates the sweda dosha, that is, any fallacy caused in the normal process of excretion of sweat. And by practicing pranayam for 24 matras, it can help in eradicating the ailments related to shivering. Pranayam of 36 matras can extirpate depression. However, do not be dubious about holding the breath for more number of minutes, because it can be achieved through practice. So, Lord Dattapuran is saying that while doing the pranayam, when we are able to hold the breath for 36 seconds, It can eliminate any kinds of diseases. But one thing to be noted, friends, we cannot do it on by practicing it for once or twice. Lot of practice is required to hold our breath, and it can be achieved slowly. There are 4 stages of pranayam, such as dvashti, prapti, samvitu, and prasad. During the first stage, a person becomes free of likes and dislikes, while in the following stage, his vishas related to aihika mushmika vancha, that is, physical and non-physical desires, are fulfilled. In the upcoming stage, he attains divya drishti, ability to envision the future events as well as the subtle form. And in the final stage, he gains the wisdom as comparable to sun and the moon and experiences Brahmanand, that is, eternal bliss. So here they have divided pranayam into 4 stages. So in each stage, the person is progressing spiritually, and in the final stage, he shall experience Brahmanand. The next level of yoga is explicated as follows: Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana, and Swastikasana. These are 3 types of asanas or postures. And the one who is agog to practice the following level of yoga shall sit in one of the 3 asanas with an unbending spine and head, observing the nose tip. So whoever wants to practice Padmasana, he should sit straight without any bending spinal, and he has to observe the nose tip. Close the lips and maintain a gap between the lower and upper jaws. It is mandatory to become one with the self. So friends, while we are observing our nose tip, it is very much essential that though we close our lips, a gap should be maintained between the lower and upper jaw. As the turtle retracts its limbs into its shell, likewise, retract the 5 senses and the desires. This kind of process is termed as pratyahara. There are 3 subcategories in pranayam called as puraka, kumbhaka, and rechaka. 12 such pranayams is referred to as one dharana, and yoga is equivalent to 2 dharanas that shall eliminate all the maladies related to mind. To become one with the self is the prime goal of pranayam. Controlling the breath is termed as pranayam, while retraction of senses is called pratyahara, and dharana is to still the mind. So friends, here it's clearly mentioned that by controlling the breath, we can achieve a lot. While practicing dharana, concentrate on 10 different parts of the body such as navel, heart, shoulders, throat, face, nose, eyes, place between the eyebrows, head and Brahmarandra, that is tip of the head. Oneness with the self is attained by redirecting the mind to Brahmarandra. So, if we are redirecting the mind to Brahmarandra, that is the Sahasrara Chakra, then we become one with ourselves. Inhale slowly while practicing pranayam. Hunger, tiredness, and depression during these stages, practicing pranayam is prohibited because the practitioner may suffer from insomnia, nervous breakdown, or may even become blind. So friends, if you're hungry, if you're tired, and if you're very much depressed, please do not practice pranayam. To eliminate heat from the body, one has to dharan cold, and when the body is cold, dharan the heat. To reduce phlegm, dharan the Mahashaila that is mountain, Mahashaila, and dharan of amrafal is mango friends, is needed to quench the thirst. The body plays a major role in achieving eternity. Hence, a yogi should never miss to pay attention to his body. So, friends, from this we can know how important our body is. That is why time and again in the Puranas it was mentioned that our body is a temple and the Atman that is residing in our body is the God Himself. So our body has got such importance, friends, though it is a temporary abode. We have to give importance to our body. We have to listen to our body. We have to interact with each cell of our body, friends. It is like a friend to us. And only our body can help us to reach the eternity. If we do not have a body, we cannot really reach the eternity. And that is why Lord is saying that we have to practice yoga. Yoga is nothing but doing pranayama and then meditation. By practicing yoga and meditation vigorously, the practitioners are blessed with siddhis, that is, the magical powers. A yogi should keep them under wraps and abstain from being arrogant, otherwise, the siddhis would become evanescent. So, we should never feel proud, friends, if you are blessed with the supernatural powers. A yogi may be subjected to innumerable hurdles in his spiritual journey. Sometimes they could be in the form of siddhis too. Ergo, he needs to be vigilant and desist from being attached to them. Alarka, you have to dharan the 5 elements, discarding their nature and repudiate your mind as well as the intellect. So, friends, a yogi, the Lord is saying that a yogi will come across many difficulties while he's traveling in the spiritual path, and sometimes it could be due to the supernatural powers too. Because if you are blessed with supernatural powers, there are chances that we may become egoistic, right? And if we become egoistic, we cannot travel the path. So, Lord is mentioning that be careful of the supernatural powers. The one who is successful in achieving the above is called as Yoga Siddhi. And he shall be gifted with 8 siddhis or supernatural powers, such as Anima, that is the ability to reduce one's size, Mahima, ability to increase one's size, Garima, ability to increase one's weight infinitely, Laghima, ability to become lighter than the lightest, Prapti, ability to obtain anything, Prakamya, ability to acquire anything desired, Ishitva, lordship over creation, Vashitva, having control over things. So these are the 8 supernatural powers, friends. Nevertheless, a yogi should not be entrapped by the yoga siddhis. Rather, he has to perpetuate his journey until he attains the state of nirvana. So, if any yogi is blessed with the supernatural powers, he should not stop his journey there, because it is only a step, that's it. He has to continue his journey until he attains the state of nirvana. Liberation is defined as the depletion of cycle of births and deaths. The liberated being unites with Paramatma and attains the state of water dissolved in water itself, which is regarded as Brahmaikya, that is to become one with Brahma. So liberation is nothing but to become one with Brahma, friends. For that we have to overcome the cycle of births and deaths. A yogi is subjected to disrespect time and again. I think almost all of us would have experienced it in day-to-day life. We are often subjected to disrespect. Yet, he must treat it as ambrosia. So, a yogi should treat it as an ambrosia, that is amrut. Even if somebody hurts you or heckles you, or if somebody shouts at you, you should treat it as amrut. Chalo, this is like amrut for me, but you should not feel bad. That is what Lord is saying. He has to lead his life by seeking alms from various houses and keep himself away from participating in the religious rituals or performing them. So, yogi should live by seeking alms from various houses, and he should not involve in any of the religious rituals, friends, because yogi is someone who is who knows that only Atman is residing. He is beyond religions, right? When he is beyond dualities, he is beyond religions also. So he should not participate in any of the religious rituals. A yogi consumes his meal by offering Pancha Pranahuti. In Sanskrit, prana means life force and ahuti means offering. So, pranahuti means offering of the life force such as prana, life force that is moving inward through heart, chest and lungs. Apana, life force descending below the navel. Samana, life force equalizing in the navel. Udana, life force ascending through throat, upper chest and head. Vyana, life force diffusing through peripheral nervous system and pervades through entire body. So a yogi should offer food to the Pancha Prana that I have mentioned now, friends, before having food. The 5 principles to be followed by yogi are: avoid shaving head and beard, practice celibacy when unmarried and fidelity when married, sacrificing nature, asceticism and non-violence. The 5 rules to be followed by a yogi every day are: peace, serving the guru, control of senses, consuming food in limited quantities, and reading spiritual books. So, reading spiritual books is also a part of yogi's life, friends. Since meditation leads to liberation, a yogi meditates in isolated areas such as caves and forests. So, meditation alone can lead to liberation, friends. That is what Lord is saying. So, practicing pranayam and then dharana, pratyahara, and then meditation. These are the steps that Lord has given us. So, by practicing these things, we get liberated. Alarka, the entire universe is regarded as the form of Atman by a yogi. He is devoid of dualities such as sorrow and happiness, gold and copper, a friend and a foe. For him, every speck is the form of Atman. Practicing Om is as essential as practicing meditation to realize the Parabrahman. Om represents the bow, while the soul represents arrow. Om represents the bow, while the soul represents arrow. And to realize Brahman is the target. So friends, here they are comparing Om with a bow, the soul with an arrow, and Brahman as the target. Om is the union of Trimurtis, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. The 3 worlds, Bhuloka, the earth, Bhuvarloka, the world between the earth and sun, Swargaloka, the heaven, and Trigunas such as Sattva, Rajas, Tamo. A represents the earth, U indicates the world between earth and the sky, while M implies the heaven. A yogi attains the state of Parabrahman by chanting the most powerful Om. The analysis of the portents of death is helpful for a yogi to reach his goal in time, else he may be entwined in the cycle of births and deaths. Portents of death. Alarka, I shall expatiate the portents of death that would help a yogi to utilize his time appropriately. When a yogi is unable to espy the stars like Dhruva, Arundhati, and planet Saturn called as Devamark and Somachaya, the dark patches found on moon, he would expire within an year. The one who sees a sun without the rays and fire with rays shall die within 11 months. If a yogi dreams of urinating in gold or silver color, shall vacate his body within 10 months. The view of golden trees or Gandharvanagar declares the death of a yogi within 9 months. The other ill omens include to get wedged in the mud, when a crow or an eagle pricks on his head, if a yogi sees his inverted shadow or his image in the mirror without his head, if he dreams about going towards the southern direction by sitting on a monkey or a bear, and able to see the stars during daytime. Alarka, those are some of the important ill omens to be considered by a yogi in order to continue his practice uninterruptedly to reach the Paramatma. Alarka Narendra, Chandrakantamani glisters when it is associated with the moon rays, while the Suryakantamani coruscates through the sun rays. Similarly, a yogi is liberated from the cycle of reincarnations to the practice of yoga alone. He has to stick to yoga practice without any deviations like performing austerity. The pests like rats, rodents, etc. dwell in a house along with the house owners. If their dwelling place is damaged, the pests would ferret out for a new place and reside there contentedly. Similarly, a yogi changes the body consecutively until he attains the state of oneness. So friends, here Dattatreya is saying that only practice of yoga alone can make us liberated, and there's no need of austerity and all. We have to practice yoga to get liberated. And also a yogi changes his body continuously until he attains the state of oneness, which means until we attain that state, we have to reincarnate. Having faith in his sadhana is the prime step for a yogi. The feeling of discouragement seizes him from further practice. In this regard, an ant sets as a best example. Though it is tiny and meek, it is never distracted from building its ant house. Hence, it is imperative that a yogi should refrain from underrating his ability. The horns of a calf are dainty in the early stages, but eventually they become substantial. In the similar manner, a yogi enhances his Atmagnana. A tree would never abate the production of fruits, though it is put through various hindrances. Similarly, a yogi practices yoga without cogitating about maladies of the physical body and attains enlightenment. So here Lord is saying that we should not give importance to the ailments of the body and we should practice honorously. By just practicing pranayam without having any faith is non-beneficial. A yogi must tune his mind to be contented in any circumstance. The place where he abides is to be considered as his home and be gratified with the food he consumes. In short, earning for more wealth and food is undesirable. Rather, he must utilize his buddhi to realize the self and remain vigilant forever. O king, were you able to comprehend the yoga mark that I have been delineating till now? Alarka replied thus, My lord, I am fortuitous to have known the principles of yoga from the one who is the form of Yoga Mark. Since my rival vanquished me in the war, I sought refuge in you. Ergo, the purpose of my life is fulfilled. The puissant army of the kingdom of Kashi has enervated me. Fortunately, my army was feeble. Fortunately, my entire army was obliterated in the battle. Fortunately, my capital city was extinguished. Fortunately, I have chosen the virtuous path. Every situation was favorable to me. Hence, I could quench my melancholy at thy feet. Friends, Lord is saying that a yogi should be always contented. That is, he should be satisfied with whatever he is having, his home, his wealth. Let it be anything, he should be satisfied with that. And when he asked Alarka about his understanding regarding the yoga mark that he was preaching, so Alarka, friends, we can observe even Alarka, he's considering every situation as favorable to him because every situation has made him to become enlightened. If we observe like the series of situations that have occurred in his life has made him to get enlightened. So that is what he's realizing, that his army was feeble. He was lucky to have an army that was feeble. So his considering every situation has helped him. So friends, even in our lives, if we observe each and every situation that we are facing is actually leading us towards oneness. So please don't feel sorrow if you have any problems. It could be financial, it could be health related problems or anything. And make a note that every situation is helping us to progress spiritually. That is the main reason behind every situation, friends. Yogeshwara, I am ever grateful to the King of Kashi, and from now onwards I shall desist myself from enmeshing in the drift nests of afflictions. With your permission, I wish to renounce the sansar. Lord Dattatreya was exalted, embraced Alarka and said, "So be it, Alarka," that is Tadastu. Alarka, remember my words and follow the path of yoga and become enlightened. My blessings are always with you. So, since Alarka realized that there is only a single entity, that is the Atman, which is prevailing in the entire universe, so he has reached the dualities, right? He is beyond dualities. So he is saying that I will not be having any afflictions. If we are in duality, we are subjected to afflictions, right, friends? And if we go beyond dualities, because there's no happiness, there's no sorrow. You are not touched by anything or any situation that is happening in your life. Dattatreya Stuti by King Alarka, that is extolling Lord Dattatreya. Dattatreya Deva, you have incarnated in the physical form to preach Yoga Mark. You are the embodiment of wisdom, and the servants serve thy feet. You are the sturdiest, you are the meekest. You are the Gambara, that is disrobed, and the wearer of Divyambara. Divyambara is divine attire. My salutations to your lotus feet. You are the Yogi Vandya, Yoga Vignanashaka and Mahanubhava. You are a child as well as an aged person. You are the resident of a lady. It is impossible for us to perceive your infiniteness. The immortality of seers is your form. You are the soul. You are Narayana, Padmanabha, Jagadrupa, Jagatkarana, Vakya Shakti, Vachaka Shakti. My obeisance to your lotus feet. You have given birth to Vedas and Upanishads. You abide in the entire cosmoses. You are responsible for providing wisdom to the innocent people. You have no discretion amongst the various religions. Though you have no specific form, you have taken the form of Lord Dattatreya to uplift the downtrodden people like me. Time and again I am saluting to your lotus feet, my lord. Alarka visited his kingdom by paying respects to the Lord. The king of Kashi and his brother Subahu were waiting for Alarka's arrival. He promulgated thus, Dear King of Kashi, I am consigning my pleasures and the kingdom to you. Either you can rule the kingdom or offer it as a benefaction to your friend Subahu. The king of Kashi and Subahu were stupefied by his decision, and they said, Alarka, indeed you are trespassing the duties of a king. A king should be plucky to battle with the enemy until his last breath in order to safeguard his kingdom. On contrary, you are renouncing the kingdom, which is deplorable. Alarka replied this, Kashipati, even I was of the same intent, until I sought refuge in Lord Dattatreya. Every creature on this planet Earth flourishes in the similar fashion as green grass, and the personality of the Atma present in every creature is akin, and that is Paramatma. In that case, how could I discriminate between the affluent and penurious people, friend and a foe? Since I am dwelling in every being on this planet, how is it possible to brawl with myself? Kashipati, Lord Dattatreya has enlightened me about oneness. Hence, I would lead the rest of my life in realizing the Parabrahman. This is indeed the true victory. That is the victory over senses, victory over dualities, victory over thyself. Ergo, I am not agog to battle with you. So, Alarka is saying that when I am present in every creature on this planet, how could I fight with you? Because you are me and I am you. So, he doesn't want to fight with the king, and he is ready to consign his kingdom to the king of Kashi. And he is also giving a great information, friends, that is the real victory is actually the victory over our senses. Victory over our senses is like we should be able to balance. We need to have a balance of all the senses. And victory over dualities, that is oneness, and then victory over thyself. When we are in oneness, we have actually won ourselves. That is, we are reaching towards oneness, right? So, he's saying that I am not interested to battle with you, king. Kashipati was bewildered by Alarka's words, while Subahu was elated. Actually, his brother Subahu was not interested in the kingdom. He only wanted his brother Alarka to realize the Parabrahman. So he played this entire drama with the help of Kashipati. So Subahu was he was very happy with the transformation of Alarka. He embraced his brother and apprised Kashipati, King, Alarka is my youngest brother, ensnared in pleasures and pomp. And to make him realize the Parabrahman, I have antagonized you to combat with him. A person cannot transform into a Gnani until he is deprived of pleasures in the physical plane. Therefore, I had to take your help. It was due to Lord Dattatreya's grace that my brother has transmuted into a Brahmagnani. Please do not dismay and enjoy the kingdom of Alarka. So, he is of the intention that a person would become a Gnani only if he is deprived of the pleasures. But this may not be the case with everyone, friends. There could be certain people who would get enlightened in spite of enjoying the pleasures because they will not have any attachment towards the pleasures. But here Alarka was attached to his pleasures. So it was necessary that he is deprived of his pleasures to realize the Parabrahman. Kashipati asked Subahu to explicate about Brahmagnan. Subahu depicted the same in the following manner. I shall expound the Brahmagnan in a way that is intelligible to you. Remember, do not entrap yourself in mind, that is ownership, and I, ego. These are like two venomous snakes and you have to jettison them. Every day, after completing your duties as a king, ponder over these two things. Who am I, and from where I have come? This is the first step towards the journey of enlightenment. Subahu, after having preached to the king, vacated the place, while Alarka dispensed the kingdom and began to live amidst the woods along with his wife. So even Kashipati wants to know about Brahmagnan, seeing the transformation of Alarka. So Subahu is saying that there are two venomous snakes in our lives, that is ownership and ego. So we have to discard these two things in order to attain Brahmagnan. One fine day, while Alarka was gazing at the animals, birds, shrubs, and trees of the forest, he contemplated in this manner. The entire human kingdom, animal kingdom, and the plant kingdom are entrapped in three gunas such as sattva, rajas, and tamo. As a result, they are agonized terribly. My life as a king is incomparable with the existing life, since I am more rapturous than before. Yoga can provide tangible results to an individual who practices it honestly. People are unable to decipher the bliss catered by yoga, and hence they are intertwined in the whims. The Parabrahman is limitless. He is the absolute truth. He is the form of light, and that is me, that is Atma. I am ever grateful to Lord Dattapuran who preached me about yoga. So look at the transformation, friends, for the simple question that was put forth by Dattapuran. And he's saying that the human kingdom, the animal kingdom, they are all entrapped in three gunas, that is sattva, rajas, and tamo. In fact, we need to have a balance between those three gunas. Then we will be beyond those three gunas. We'll become beyond those three gunas. So he's saying that Paramatma is limitless. He has no limits, and he is the absolute truth, and he has no lineament either, since Paramatma is in the form of light, and that is me. So he is saying that he is Paramatma himself, and that is Atma. So I am the soul. So I am the Paramatma, and I am in the form of light. And he is also expressing his gratitude. Even I express my gratitude to Lord Dattapuran for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to read out the lines to you, and also for giving me the opportunity to translate such a wonderful, energetic book into English language. I am truly blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I would also thank you people who are listening to these chapters of Sri Dattapuran. Thank you so much, friends, for your patience. Sumati exclaimed Yogamark to his father and retired to the woods to live the life of a sannyasi. The Atman is audacious and conscious. By practicing yoga, nirvana stage can be attained easily. Thus, Brahma depicted the principles of yoga to Kalipurusha.